Hello and welcome to the Tyre Straits podcast, the most unprofessional motorsports podcast you will find on the internet. Scobbert, how you doing? How are things going?
I've been to the beach that makes you old.
You've gotten old.
I'm feeling a bit deflated. I had a blood test earlier, and then in my infinite wisdom determined that I was fit to do a championship race, like round of karting. So I've progressed forwards in the standings. I've done all right for myself, but
Yeah, how'd that
I'm
go?
feeling yeah, I've done all right. I didn't have the best heat in my last one, but in terms of the actual like total season standings, I've managed to progress up to like P6 out of like nearly 30 people, so I'm quite happy. But yeah, no,
Very nice.
having had a blood test done in the afternoon beforehand, my right arm now feels very heavy after actually doing
But you
like
could
physical activity. And I've got a bit of a tight
definitely
chest,
do
a
a
bit of a
bit
cough,
of
so
physical work, yeah.
I'm on the ropes, to be honest, man.
No,
So my
that's fair.
energy
We have
my
a
energy will be lacking in this
bit of
episode.
a low energy episode. I don't know. I've got no excuse. I'm just tired.
Dear viewers, please excuse any coughing or spluttering that you hear from me. It's nothing to worry
Yeah,
about. I just may be dying, but
potentially. We
we
shall.
remain committed to providing you top quality slop.
Indeed, today we're going to be talking about as we got like a little week's break between races before the Belgian Grand Prix. We're going to be talking about the best F1 drivers that didn't end up becoming champions. We'll run through a
Indeed.
little bit of some of like the bigger names that were like these have to be mentioned, and then we got a little honorable mention section where we'll just run through some other and have a chat about some other drivers that we think are worth mentioning for their quality, even if they've not won a championship
Yeah.
yet. Now,
Before that though,
before we do that, we're gonna quickly hop into general news. But just before that, it's also if you enjoy listening to the podcast, please drop us a follow, drop us a like, drop us a comment on XYZ questions or whatnot, and follow us on Instagram as well at Tie Straits Podcast. Now, first
cheer
for
up.
general news. So I'm trying, all right? I'm a little bit low on energy today. That's we're both doing fantastic, as you can tell.
My chest is very
Also,
tight.
it's also we usually record the podcast episodes at around between 7 and 8 p.m. and it's currently
Yeah, on a
quarter to
Monday.
midnight. So yeah, and it's quarter to midnight on the Wednesday.
It is
So
indeed.
things have gone a little bit out of schedule, but it's fine. But for general news, get back into it. We've got something that's not actually fully F1 related. I just want to briefly talk about the Goodwood Festival of Speed, which has obviously just taken place, and some of the things that have been shown off with plenty of old F1 cars that get driven up the hill climb every year. It's always a good watch if you're able to, and if you're in the area, then it's always good to go to. Yeah, some fun stuff like Liam Lawson driving Bruce McLaren's GT40. I'm pretty sure there was a number of the F1 Academy drivers that went around in F1 cars. From memory, it would be Dorian Penn. I don't remember who it was, but the Aston Martin,
Oh,
and it's
what's
not
her
Nina
name?
Galeman, is it?
No. It's like Jessica something, isn't it?
Oh, Jessica Hawkins.
That's it. Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
it.
I'm pretty sure. Uh,
Or
yeah. And essentially, it's just good to see. Another one we've had shown is the Formula E Gen 4 car being driven up the hill by Dan Ticktum, which a bit of a strange choice to go with him, but you know what, if he's available and he's free and he's happy to do it, I guess so.
the
Um,
poster boy.
yeah, I don't know if he's the poster boy you want to have for
No,
Formula E.
exactly. Even I
I,
know
I, I
about
don't
the Dan Ticktum law.
I don't have that. I don't have that much against Dan Ticktum, but he's
No.
definitely he's a controversial figure.
Yes.
Say that. So
Yes.
it's a bit of an odd choice, but I'm assuming that Taylor Barnard was probably busy.
Hmm.
Um, However, it's always a good event. Always nice to see. It's a shame that I could not go this year, but I'm So I'll swing by again at some point. Plenty of new cars being driven around, and the hill climb is iconic.
Yeah.
And now the second bit of news is basically just the classic. We do it every week. We do the little natter about rumors for contracts, and it's actually about McLaren showing massive interest in Verstappen and the talks going on there. I don't know if we mentioned it last time. I know we discussed Verstappen moving and leaving, but there's been a lot of talk that McLaren are pushing hard for him. However, Red Bull have also been looking at getting Behrman in as a replacement if that scenario were to unfold, which then would leave Piastri as a free agent, which would be very strange going forward, because that would be such a waste of a good talent if he ends up going to some low-down team.
I really can't see McLaren going for Max right now. I know obviously it's just a rumour, and I like to say it most times we discuss rumours, I say where there's smoke, there's fire. But at the end of the day, on this one, I might end up eating humble pie in a couple of weeks' time if anything comes out about it, but I really can't see this bearing any fruit. Like, McLaren have got a great driver lineup. They've invested in both of their drivers very heavily, and they kind of consider both of their drivers to be their future. Meanwhile, you've got Max Verstappen, whose interest in Formula One is steadily waning, who is contracted to Red Bull until 2028, with obviously a clause to be able to exit that contract. But at the same time, I feel like his time in F1 is limited anyway, not because obviously he's not good enough, because obviously 4-time world champion he is, but it's a case of he has other interests. He's been looking at going into World Endurance Championship, things like that. Like, he wants to, while he's still in his physical prime, be able to do all these things and be able to be good at these things. And I can't see him. It might be a controversial take, especially with hindsight, if anyone listens back in like 3 years' time. I don't see Verstappen going to any other team in his career now. I think he'll ride it out at Red Bull until that 2028 contract is concluded, and then I reckon he's going to move things along to endurance or rally, something else.
I think it's an odd one. I'm not 100% certain, because the problem is he always talks about when things aren't going his way. He just non-stop talks about how he hates the regulations, he's going to leave. But the second that things are actually going okay, team-wise, he shuts right up.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where you never can be too sure with Max, because he very much he's quite reactionary with it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Most people are, on the whole, and I think that if McLaren showed, like, here, we've got a car where you can we know you can win with this thing. Go take it to Norris, take it to Russell, take it to Antonelli. And, like, if there's proof there that thing is going to be pacey enough to win, then I could see him moving if Red Bull doesn't have anything to offer, especially if they offer him a contract that allows him to go and race for, like, other series events like Le Mans and stuff like that. Especially with, like, McLaren returning to hypercar, and Mercedes as well, in all fairness.
Yeah,
I think it would make some amount of sense that he might strike up a contract where it allows him to race for both the endurance team and the F1 team, whereas Red Bull obviously don't have any stake in endurance.
Yeah, true.
Besides Ford, who are also joining hypercar, but I think their lineup's set in stone. Or at least they've announced part of it, because I'm pretty sure Logan Sargent is driving for the Ford hypercar when that comes into
I've
production.
heard rumblings about that, yeah. I recall seeing his name come up.
Yeah, I mean, I know he currently drives in the LMGT3 for the number 88 Ford, but we shall see if he gets moved over to hypercar when that's fully set up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe that's kind of everything. I certainly haven't heard any other rumours or news.
No, I'm a bit light on news of any sort, so.
Fair enough. Actually, a slight other rumour I have heard. Apparently, there's rumours that want to increase the number of sprint races a year to around 10.
Oh yeah, no, I have heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something that they're looking at.
comments from Sky Sports that they're planning on increasing it, and there's a little slip of them saying that obviously we've got the sprints this, and there's going to be even more next year, and
Mm.
it's like, well,
I think
is there now?
Domenicali has said something as well that's caused people to think that. So
I mean,
I'm just speaking
I
off the top of
don't
my head though. I recall there also
I
being like a press release of some variety.
yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, it's kind
No,
of
no.
I'd rather go for, as much as everyone kind of ridicules the sprints and they are sometimes pointless. The whole point is that they bring in more money for the location.
Hmm.
And also I like that it gives less practice. I like that it actually gives some amount of meaning to Friday besides just the practice sessions.
Yeah.
And then also, I think six is too few. If you're gonna have six, either one, spread them out much more evenly. To put them only at legacy tracks.
Hmm.
So, like for example, it's a thing specifically for like the iconic ones on
Yeah.
the calendar, um, or just like get rid of them because they need to. It like six is too few.
Hmm.
To realistically for people to remember, especially with how they're spread out.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, their distribution this year has obviously been something that people have complained about a little bit because you have a very heavy emphasis in the earlier stage of the season than you do in the latter. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
how many sprint weekends have we had now already? What, four?
we have had half of them,
Okay,
I
three
think.
so far.
Oh
Three so
no,
far.
no, 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 more than half. We've had
I was gonna say we've had four, haven't we?
yeah, 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 because we had China,
China,
Miami,
Miami.
Canada, and Britain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was
So we've
say
literally only got
we've got two left.
a Dutch Grand Prix and Singapore. But
Yeah.
it was last year where we had like in the first half of the season had three of them, and then the other three were in the last like 4 5 races.
Hmm. No, the
Like it
distribution there
was
wasn't great either. But I think I
no,
heard
no, it
obviously a
was
lot of people
horrendous.
complained about this year as well because you have still got that sort of comparative to all of the last three being pushed back to very late in the season. You now have quite a front
Yeah.
half of the season heavy uh, calendar for these sprints.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just spaced out too poorly. As the
Yeah,
like just in general, in the sense of like people don't remember them. You kind of forget it's a sprint weekend until you look at like, I open the app and I
yeah.
look at timings for things, and I'm like, oh shit, oh it's sprint this weekend. I forgot about that.
I think I've actually watched like one sprint race actually this year, like live. You know, like I kind of just forget they're even a thing. Sometimes they don't have a space in my conscience.
I have watched a couple of them, but I'm not
Mm.
there. I kind of don't pay attention to them because it's like you get fewer points, and they're not frequent enough to really make much
Yeah,
of a dent on the championship. If it was like, for example, in MotoGP, there's a sprint every single weekend,
yeah,
and so being good at the sprints and working well at the sprints, that does add up because it is week in, week out. But with it just being like six little race things throughout the season, it's not enough points for people to really care about championship wise. And it's
mm.
not a long enough race for people to really care about action wise. And all it really does is give us a bit of a like preview of well what's gonna happen and what the order's gonna look like on the main race.
Yeah.
But no, we've yapped for long enough about the sprint races, I think.
We have a little. I think we have gone on that that
Gone down that rabbit hole a bit too much, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
God, I am
Right.
I'm an unwell man.
No, it's fine. I'm tired. We're in fantastic condition to
We
be doing
really
this.
are.
We
We really are. It's gonna be the end of the year, like when we're doing our final like episode of the year, when we do like the awards and stuff, and we're both gonna be in like fucking wheelchairs
no, what we need to do, we
on
need
life
to
support.
an award for most dejected episode, and it's going to be this one
It's gonna be
probably.
this one, unless the results of my blood test come back and I've got like
Yeah,
leukemia and I had in time for
yeah.
next week's
Then
episode.
then some tells me that's going to get worse.
Hey guys, welcome to the Tire Straits podcast. I won't be doing this for much longer now.
Hmm. But no,
Anyway,
We should
Mr. Dootson,
probably
we've yapped for
yeah.
a very long time. Remind the viewers, the listeners, I keep saying the viewers, listeners, remind them what we're doing today.
So it's going to be best non-champion drivers in Formula One history, and we're going to be jumping into that now.
Yes.
Essentially, obviously, throughout the years, there've been many drivers that have been incredibly well known, incredibly good, like in the long, like 75 years or 76 years of the sport's existence. But there's plenty of drivers that kind of fly under the radar because they've never achieved that big title of the world champion. And
Yeah.
so, some of them are definitely, I mean, it's very, very arguable. Some
It's
of them are much more deserving of being world
and
champions
I
than actual
and I,
world
I
champions.
think it's a bit of an oxymoron as well because I definitely think there are some names on this list that people speak about more frequently today than they do drivers who actually won championships.
Oh, for sure. Like,
I
oh,
I don't,
100%.
I don't want to give away anything before we get into it, but the first name on this list I've heard mentioned more recently than drivers like Jody Scheckter or
Yeah. Well,
Keke
what
Rosberg.
Well, one of the people on this list lost the title to Jody Scheckter.
He did indeed. He did indeed.
But
The runner-up.
well,
If
let's
that doesn't,
start with the big man himself, the one that everyone talks about as the best driver who never won a championship. It's Sterling Moss, easily.
Sir,
Sir,
Sir
sir.
Sterling Moss. I'm
Yes,
gonna be
it
that guy.
wasn't a Sarah at the time, but
Well, yeah.
but also, why are we giving that treatment to him, but not bloody Hamilton, the
I'm
guy we
I, I'm
talk about
doing
way
I'm
more?
doing the bit that the Hamilton fans do. That's what I'm doing. When you say you just whisper the name Lewis Hamilton and then they just appear banging on your window going, Sir, Sir,
Lewis
Sir.
Hamilton.
Excuse me, sir.
No, no, no. But no, Sterling Moss, who was he was a F1 driver from 1951 through to 61. So really early stages of the championship, and was a four-time runner-up
Yeah.
for the championship from in a streak from 1955 to 1958. He was so close to getting that championship, but never quite managed it. And then
Yeah.
was third place in the championship a further three times.
I'm pretty sure there are
in the
only
years.
like 2 or 3 seasons that he wasn't top three.
I believe it was just that, like, the seasons before 55, he was lower down in the championship or not fully classified due to not having enough results.
Oh, okay.
Um,
But
but
I mean,
after,
he has an
afterwards,
incredible record though. Like,
oh,
just a lot of people these days look at 16 wins, 24 podiums, and 16 pole positions, and they'd scoff at that. But the fact is that Sterling Moss only participated in, I think it was 66 Grand Prix in his career.
yeah.
Back then it was 8 or 9 rounds per season.
Yeah, that's the thing is you've got to remember that back then this is a man with 16 wins when a season was roughly 8 on the
Yeah.
whole, 8 to 9.
Yeah.
So that is nothing to scoff at in the slightest. In fact, he ended up starting in 66 races and getting 16 wins, so that's nearly a 25% win rate.
Yeah, and you also look at his competition back then. You had drivers obviously like the big one being Fangio, who was
Being Fangio.
his teammate at Mercedes.
Yeah.
Then of course he raced against Mike Hawthorn when he nearly won, but due to him being a gentleman, ended up not winning. In 1958 over Mike Hawthorn in Ferrari.
Yeah.
And then he would have raced guys like Ascari, Farina.
I mean, by the time you're hitting the back end of his career during, like, when he was third,
early
like,
60s.
Brabham,
Early 60s,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely.
it would have been about the years that Brabham won, and there was also people like Bruce McLaren, Phil Hill,
Chris Amon.
Tony
Was Chris Amon back then?
Yeah. Tony Brooks, people like that he raced
Yeah.
alongside.
All big names back in the day, and some of them obviously big names to this day. So he did carve his place out amongst the immortals, And I think he is probably the guy, aside from maybe the next name on this list, I think he's the guy that is most unanimously sort of voted, quote unquote, as the most, like, the best non-championship winning Formula One driver of all time.
And I think he 100% deserves to be spoken as the best to never win a championship.
Aye.
Because of the stats, because of the performance, the consistent performance.
Yeah.
And in an age where it was much more, yes, there were fewer races as well, but there were it was much more temperamental, the cars.
Yeah.
It was a very different kind of championship. However,
engine reliability back then was terrible.
Yeah. Outside of that as well, in other series, he was a two-time Sebring 12-hour winner and also two-time Le Mans runner-up, which while it doesn't contribute to his F1 status, it's just cementing him as just a fantastic driver through and through.
Yeah.
And apparently a very lovely person to talk to.
Yes, by all accounts, I've not really heard anything bad against him, because obviously you do have that like political infighting within certain teams and things, and you get drivers sort of talking badly about their compatriots. But I've not heard a single bad thing anyone say about Sterling Moss ever. So
quite the gentleman.
Yeah.
But yeah. Moving on to the next one. This is the one you were mentioning, and the runner-up in the 1979 season. It's Gilles Villeneuve.
Indeed.
Who, despite not having that long a tenure in the sport and actually passing away during the which race?
It was the qualifying for Zolder, Belgian Grand Prix, 1982. I want to say. I think it was 82.
Yeah, it was 82. It was 82
during qualifying.
Yeah, but during his relatively short tenure, in fact, only having one more start than Sterling Moss. He managed to bring in 6 wins and 13 podiums, as well as 2 pole positions, and is highly regarded as someone who would have been an absolute star. Ferrari driver. Everyone kind of knew he had this insane pace and fantastic racecraft. And it was impressed by
his driving style is, I think, what cements him as a legend so much. Because he had this very aggressive kind of, you think how twitchy those cars in the sort of mid to late 70s and early 80s were. They no driver aids, manual gearbox, but still wickedly fast cars. You just comparing them with the cars from 5-10 years before, they were entirely different, machines altogether, with the understanding of aerodynamics and the increasing in power and speed over time. All of these things just made the cars even more fast, but at the same time, arguably even more dangerous, depending on who you ask. And what made Villeneuve so incredible was the way he would drive it to the absolute maximum. He would sit right on the line, on the ragged edge between death and victory, and that's what made him. That is what endeared him to so many people. I mean, you just watch some of his highlights. You can see he's just willing to give it his all. He will absolutely commit to every corner. He knew no fear, no matter what. And that last lap battle with Arnaud, I want to say in 81, that everyone sort of talks about. I think that's his. Everyone talks about it for a reason. I think that's his finest.
Do you mean the French Grand Prix?
That's it. I was gonna say French Grand Prix. I did. That think was 79. So, 79. Okay.
That was 79 with Arnaud.
Yeah, I'll say with Arnaud because that was when Arnaud was in Renault. Just an incredible sort of that battle and the desperation, but at the same time the control, the sort of calculated approach he had while still being so gung ho with it. It just gave him such an incredible kind of, I hate using this word now because of the way it's been tainted by the internet, but an aura. It really did.
Yeah. It was he just had such insane pace. I mean, lauded as being so rapid, but looked like he's quite twitchy, quite aggressive.
Yeah. His car control was impeccable.
Yeah, I mean, it was during I think it was the 79 US Grand Prix, Watkins Glen, where during a wet practice session, he set a time that was reported to have been 9 or 11 seconds faster than anyone else on the track.
He was just incredible, and it's
He
kind
just had
of
such pace.
I think it is fair to say that it's almost unanimously agreed that had he not been killed, he would have won a championship. It's like a guarantee that he would
I
have.
wouldn't I wouldn't say that because it's a really hard one to judge, especially considering because while yes
I know
he
his
died
1981 season wasn't great.
well
I remember it now, and then obviously he died in '82.
he died in 82, but before that he rejected an offer to rejoin McLaren, which I believe if he had rejoined McLaren, then
Hmm.
that would have 100% led to a championship for
Yeah,
him.
absolutely. I mean, you think
But
how good that McLaren got towards the mid part of the decade.
oh, for sure. Sticking with the Ferrari
Ferrari did
was
not have a great start to the decade.
no, it did not go fantastic.
Did he not? Didn't he go winless in 1981? I want to say he went winless.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so it really
Might have.
wasn't his best performances. But
I got one.
I do believe that
I don't
he
know.
would have been a
He,
champion.
he got a couple in 81. He got Monaco and
Oh
Spain.
right, okay.
But the year before 1980 was completely winless.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just he was someone absolutely fantastic, and in his short time in the sport, he managed to make quite the impression. So much so that people still laud him all this time later. Alongside that, he also gave us Jacques Villeneuve, his son, who did end up being a champion.
yes, albeit probably
Uh,
the least popular one in history, aside from
one of,
maybe Nelson Piquet.
I'd say, mate, he's one of the least popular these days
He's
because of his.
definitely established himself as a polarizing figure.
Yeah, he's a polarizing figure as a commentator and a journalist
Yes.
these days. But moving on to the third person,
This is one that yeah, this doesn't get mentioned enough, I don't think. But you are
someone
right.
who I think is completely so often under the radar, is the Super Swede himself, Ronnie Peterson, with
Sweden's
10
greatest
wins.
contribution to racing.
Indeed, 10 wins, 26 podiums, and 14 pole positions, which is absolutely fantastic. Another person with insane pace
Hmm.
and managing to be runner-up in the World Championship, both in 71 and then in the year in which he died in the sport in 78.
Indeed.
Managing to posthumously get the runner-up.
Which is
But
incredible. You think he could have easily won that championship if he remained on that trajectory prior.
oh, for sure. I mean, you just never something like that. He didn't like. It wasn't even that he got second by that smaller margin. I mean, from
Yeah.
memory, it was like a couple of points. It ended up being like over 10 or something like that from Andretti. But of course, with him being gone for the last two rounds and the crash in Italy that put him out of the points there, anything could have happened. So it's one where you could very easily see how he could do so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of just absolute incredible pace, brilliant racecraft. There was the best Swedish driver that's probably ever been
Yeah,
in
100%.
any motorsport series off the top of my head.
What
Really can't
competition
think
has
of
he
any
got
others.
aside from like Gunnar Nilsson or someone like that?
I literally cannot think of any of the rest of them off the top of my head.
Who was the one who was in
besides
ABBA?
I don't know.
Could have sworn.
Yeah, I mean potentially.
There
I
was
was thinking
one who
it's
was
like
like,
the ones thing is like Marcus Ericsson and
oh yeah,
Felix Rosenqvist. But and like I'm pretty sure they're both Indy 500 winners, but
not
like
Formula
that's
One
about it.
race winners.
No, I mean I don't think Rosenqvist
Rosenqvist has
even
never even.
got
I don't think he's even
never
driven
even
an F1
been
car.
to Formula One. Whereas Ericsson, I think his most noteworthy thing was
I
managing
think
to
Ericsson
flip
hit us.
that. Pardon?
I think Ericsson hit us.
Yeah, yeah. They're
That's a
managing to
classic
flip
clip.
the Sauber somehow in the most insane way possible.
But yes, Ronnie Peterson, we've not really gone very in depth there, but he's
No,
definitely a
I mean,
deserving name on that list.
he's someone who like definitely deserves to be on that list. Straight out of the gate, for Formula One, like in his first like full season with the in the sport, he got second in
Mm,
the championship, which instantly proved his pace. He also got a third in 1973. And that's where he actually racked up. Strangely enough, that's where he racked up the majority of his wins.
yeah,
Was in 73, where he got 4 of his 10, which is very strange considering I only managed to get third. But 73 also had a pretty tight top battle between Stewart and
I
Fittipaldi,
was say that was yeah.
as they kind of dominated the early 70s.
That was a Fittipaldi championship though, wasn't it?
Oh no, no,
No, that was
Stewart.
Stewart. That was
Stewart
Stewart.
won
Fittipaldi
73.
was 74, wasn't he?
Fittipaldi was 74, 72.
Yeah, I was gonna say 72, 74. Because then he
Yeah,
goes. Then he yeah went
yeah, yeah, yeah,
remained at McLaren in 75. Went to Copasuca in 76. That was it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, it was he definitely had rougher years. There were sometimes when he like back end of his time at
Yeah,
Lotus, and then
I think the thing that I like doesn't hold him in the same light as Villeneuve or Moss is just the consistency. I don't think it
hmm,
is as strong with Ronnie Peterson as it is with the latter two.
no, I will definitely say that he's someone who it was a less consistent, and a lot of people could attribute his race like his racecraft and his race performance. It
Mm,
could be attributed to the cars he was driving being particularly good,
yeah,
like
but
in those years. But
doesn't
regardless,
make him any less deserving.
no, it's still absolutely someone who's managed to be a two-time runner-up champion with a good number of wins and podiums for the number of starts. I think it's very deserving of at least talking about.
Indeed, indeed. But
Yeah,
yes, we've got one more, and then it's honourable
we've got
mentions.
one more main one, and then we're going to go on to the honourable mentions. Basically, rapid fire, where we just kind of have a bit of a
Throw some
chat.
names out, and
Uh,
then discuss why or why not.
yeah, yeah. And the one that I think is much more of a big name outside of Formula One,
Mm,
which is Jackie X,
massively, yeah.
who, despite being runner-up in 1969 and 1970, with 8 wins, 25 podiums, and 13 pole positions, is probably best known for being a six-time Le Mans winner,
Mm,
as well as winning the 12 Hours of Sebring twice, being a two-time World Sports Car champ, winning the Paris Dakar in '83, in lots of fantastic, like
yeah,
touring car and sports car events that he won, as well as obviously doing a stint in rallying and endurance. And I mean, one of the big ones. He's a two-time world sports car champ, but that's only because pretty much any season before '81 they didn't actually have a championship for it. It
yeah.
was all just based on the individual events, and he won like a good number of sports car races
He did. I
and
mean,
endurance races before that.
Jackie X is just not quite on the same level, but he was definitely just that Swiss Army knife kind of guy that we're seeing
Mm.
Max Verstappen starting to become in these more recent years. He didn't just dabble in racing in other series. If anything, he was more full time there than he was in
He
Formula One.
thrived.
Yeah, exactly. He thrived, and winning Le Mans 6 times is incredible, considering that that's only a few off of the most of all time.
I mean, he's the driver with the second most wins
That
in
doesn't
Le Mans,
surprise me at all.
behind
Yeah, I was
Christensen.
like behind Christensen. Yeah, that does not surprise me at all. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Jackie X, he's the guy that obviously always gets sidelined when you look at the people in that era that he raced in. You know,
Mm.
But at the same time, how can you? It's hard not to sideline him when you have obviously the big names being Lauda, then obviously
Yeah.
Fittipaldi, Hunt, Stewart. Um, you know,
I mean, that's the thing. He
all
was
of those guys.
runner up in years with people like Stewart, and I mean, Rindt ended up winning in
Rint, yeah,
1970.
so Rint won in
But you had
70.
Regazzoni as well,
Regazzoni.
drove alongside people like that.
Mm.
Managing to the majority of his actual wins
I mean,
came
also obviously
within
Ronnie
like a
Peterson, as we mentioned.
yeah, Peterson as well. Drove around the same time, and he was by the time that Villeneuve came onto the scene, he wasn't racing quite so much full time.
Hmm.
But still was doing a little bit, getting podiums and grabbing them
Yeah,
when he could, but doing a lot more like sports car and
I mean
uh, Le Mans racing
his
and stuff like
resume
that.
is comparable. I mean, if you scale it, obviously 8 wins, but then 25 podiums. Obviously, there were less
Yeah,
races to get podiums and wins back in the day. But his
yeah,
resume is otherwise comparable to like modern names like, um, for instance, obviously big one being Ricardo. You think about it,
yeah. I
or
mean
or like
that's
Bottas.
one where
Like,
so
not to suggest
many
that he,
people.
I think he's definitely a better driver than Ricardo or
Is
Bottas.
the amount of people
Infinitely
that
better.
glaze Ricardo,
Yeah, I know.
and he
But
got 8 wins, and
I
it's
just wanted to
like,
put into
yeah,
perspective for those who might not be so familiar with a character like Jackie X that he just was that guy.
yeah, yeah.
If it
That's
wasn't a race being won by Nicky Lauda or James Hunt or you know, whoever, Carlos Reutemann, you know,
yeah. I think while he
it was
definitely
won by Jackie
shouldn't,
X.
like, he's a very good F1 driver and definitely needs talking about in the conversation of best
Mm,
ones to
never win a
um
championship.
never win a championship. But with him being one of like only the fifth driver ever to complete the endurance triple crown,
Yeah,
and he with him being so well performing in rallying and endurance in sport car in Formula One, could be argued one of the most versatile racers of all time.
mm,
The fact that he is like a Swiss Army or a Belgian Army knife, I guess, in this situation, in
yeah,
the way that he every series he's dropped into, he does decent. And you can't say that for like just any driver because there have been plenty that have fumbled in some series
yeah,
and thrived in others. He would be more similar to Verstappen in that he's kind of taken to anything that he's spent time at. I mean,
yeah.
also very well known for his performances at the Nürburgring and in wet conditions. He's,
Mm.
I think, a fantastic driver.
He really, yeah,
Uh,
really was.
yeah, unsurprisingly, is someone that is a very well regarded figure and still is
Yeah. Christ, it
in the
is like a
motorsport
ghost
community.
town listening to this fucking episode. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, no,
So
I
sorry,
do
listeners.
apologize. We are so low energy at the moment, actually.
I mean, we're both
Trying
tired and
to
I may be passing away. We'll find
I'm trying
out.
to drag it through as best we can. I'll try and get to
It's fine. It
some
should ramp
crucial
up
stuff.
now. Rev up
Yeah, yeah, we
as we
got to
get to
rev
the
up.
honourable mentions, the quick fire.
Life. Right, on to that's past the main ones we want to talk about. Quick fire, some honourable mentions
Hmm.
of drivers that are worth talking about as good drivers that have not won a championship. Do you want to start?
I will. One that I think gets overlooked a lot, but is definitely warranting being discussed here, is Rene Arnoux. I mentioned him earlier. Rene Arnoux was
Yeah.
a very good driver. I mean, you know, I mentioned that battle he had with Villeneuve in 1979 in France, but you know, he was a multiple time race winner, almost won as many as Ix, almost had as many podiums as Ix.
Yeah.
Um, 18 pole positions, 12 fastest laps. He was a really fast driver. A lot of people sort of regard him as being that kind of like, almost like that Kimi Räikkönen kind of character. Like, he was just fast. Whether or not he won was a different question, but he had some insane pace. And it really was good wheel to wheel as well to watch. So, yeah, Rene Arnoux definitely deserves to be on that list, in my opinion.
That's fair. I'm pulling in Rubens Barrichello.
Mm.
Two-time runner-up in 2002 and 2004. Yes, those were probably the most dominant years for Ferrari.
Mm.
Um,
But
and
he did
obviously
also come very close in 2009. Not
yeah,
quite
I
as
mean,
close, but he did have a
no,
genuine chance in that brawn.
in 2009 he was third, I believe,
Yeah,
because
it was
Vettel
Vettel P2.
closed up. But with Braun, but this is the thing is, uh, for a man who has basically played second fiddle
Mm.
all his career, managing to get 68 podiums is no small feat. 11
Massive.
wins,
Yeah.
and like is regarded maybe not as a world champion, but one of the best number two drivers of all time, and
Yeah.
still a brilliant race winner and a driver with
I
such pace.
I'd definitely
If he
say
just
best number two driver.
if he hadn't been, the problem is he was, around in the sport at the time of greats like Schumacher, and so it was kind of
Mm.
never quite got that opportunity to truly shine.
Mm.
But
Well, yeah.
still managed to show just how good a driver he can be. Even like
Well and truly.
even when he joined in his Jordan in '94, he
Yeah.
still managed to
Yeah.
get a podium on like in the second race out. Stuff like that. He was still pulling in like podiums in the
He was
Jordan and in
he
the
was a
Stewart.
very impressive driver in his day, and
Yeah.
he had great longevity as well. He was still consistently a very strong driver into the
Yeah.
2010s, and this was a guy that was racing in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that he was someone who managed to get third in the championship in 2009 still,
Yeah.
and was putting in decent points finishes 2010.
Yeah. Exactly.
And final year, I mean most people's final year is not never that great, and also he was in the declining Williams at the time in
Yeah.
2011. But
That was
still, like that's
that was when Williams just before they turned it around because 2012 they had a good car.
yeah, yeah. I think it was like 2014 or 2013. They came like third in the championship
Yeah, 2014.
with Massa.
I think it was yeah
It
because
was
it was
Massa
yeah.
and
Yeah, it was 2014.
Bottas.
Massa and
Like,
Bottas in Williams because that was
yeah,
when they that was the first year of a hybrid era.
yeah.
But yeah,
No, perfect.
speaking
That'll be the
of
next one.
Massa, we go from Rubens Barrichello to his countryman and replacement at Ferrari, Felipe Massa. Um,
Mm,
you know, obviously this is a little bit of a tenuous one because he is really only remembered for that one 2008 season where he came so close. 1 point he lost the championship by, and at the time held himself with very much a lot of grace in losing and really showed what a class act he was. And I don't want that to take away from what he was able to do in other races and other years though, because he might, he does get a little bit forgotten, but that is it's not easy to be relevant when you're teammates with, for instance, Michael Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen. You're up there with some of the biggest names of the era. You're gonna get
he's an
beaten by them typically, and yet
he's another one that
he didn't
suffered from.
always.
He's another one that suffered from just being in a time when there were so many good drivers.
And being their teammate, no less.
Yeah.
But no,
It's a really
Massa
good driver.
was capable of winning races. He had really good pace, and early in his career, obviously, I will admit things trailed off a little bit. Before, obviously, the sort of he had like an upswing again with the like you said, the 2014 Williams, and then his time at Williams was generally quite positive. But
Yeah.
towards the end of his time at Ferrari, he had I'd say it was a downturn. I won't lie,
Mm.
but he showed so much promise early on, and if things had just gone a little bit different, we would remember him as a champion. And I think it's only fair that, based on that alone, he gets at least an honourable mention here.
Mm. Yeah, very fair mention, I think. I also want to bring up Carlos Reutemann.
Mm.
Who was a driver back in the 70s and 80s, only the early 80s, but a runner-up in 1981. Drove for a good number. It was Ferrari, Williams, and Brabham, and he managed to pull in about 45 podiums,
Mm.
I believe. 45 podiums, 12 wins. And the only thing that stopped him, unfortunately, because like this is someone who in his basically his second to last year because he only raced for 2 races in 1982. But in the year just before he finished, he came second in that championship. Like
Hmm.
he still had the pace after that time, and unfortunately, his career was cut short due to political tensions. With him racing for a British team and being an Argentinian driver in 1982, you can imagine that tensions were particularly high, and as such, he decided to retire
Hmm.
from the sport. Otherwise, who knows where he could have gone on.
Absolutely.
Also, fuck you, Argentina. You played awfully in the football match. Um, you play it as the dirtiest match I've ever seen, and you're paying off the refs. That is all.
Well, with that
Yeah, different turn.
with that said, I'd like to mention one that it's not that it doesn't get mentioned, but I feel like it's definitely a harder one to justify. But I'd like to try. I'd like to try, and that would be the case for Mr. Jean Alesi. Now, the
Mm,
statistics, I do not believe I don't believe that the statistics do justice. Out of 202 Formula One race starts, well, 201 starts, sorry, 202 entries, whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
only one win. And that obviously is not necessarily reflective of a driver with incredible talent or pace, whatever you want to say. But that does not change the fact that he got 32 podiums in that time as well. You got to think about and that his stint at Ferrari only lasted, I believe, 5 seasons, 91 to 95, and then from then on
yeah.
he was at a declining Benetton as well as Tyrrell and Prost, which were both backmarker teams at this point in time.
Mm,
His tenure in the sport, he really only had a competitive car for a few years, and while he didn't have the opportunity to maximize it, he was going up against prime Benetton with Schumacher, obviously winning 94, 95. Obviously, you had Williams in their prime. You had Ferrari was strong, but not the strongest. And his partner at Ferrari when he joined was Alain Prost. And then obviously McLaren. I can't believe I didn't even say McLaren yet. Once
yeah.
again, he was racing.
Later into the years, yeah.
Yeah, he was racing against guys like Senna, Schumacher, Prost. Um, you know, then guys like the next generation, obviously Hakkinen, all of these guys he was racing against. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes, but I think with the stats aside, what I think deserves him of this position is just the way, much like Gilles Villeneuve, the way he controlled the car. Everyone sort of talks about it. If you look at anything about Jean Alesi, I think the first YouTube video that comes up when you put his name in is called like Insane Car Control or something like that. But it's true. All of it is true. You watch Jean Alesi, and I've never seen. I don't think there's ever been a driver, in my personal opinion, that has ever been just so in tune with his car. Like you can see every tiny adjustment he makes, every little twitch of the tires of the wheel is all about maintaining control while still maximizing, exit speed, the corner entry, the point at the corner entry, or the braking point. All of these things, he absolutely was just a master of it. And I really think the stats let him down because, he did suffer mechanical issues. He did, sometimes it just wasn't his day. All drivers do that. But I do genuinely think that Jean Alesi is one of the best pure drivers that the sport has ever seen. And while, he might not have the incredible statistics to back it up, his ability is what, for me, makes him worthy of that title. So that is me presenting my case for Mr. Jean Alesi.
That is fair, but I do disagree with that to some degree. Of like, I understand he has been fighting in like a less good Ferrari for a good chunk of time, and not managing to achieve much. But it's also, from memory, in a lot of these years, like he was up against like as teammates with some very good drivers, but I just don't think he proved anything. I like he was a very good wet weather driver. I will give you that.
Brilliant. One of the best of all
So,
time, I'd
so
say.
one of the best. If we're talking about wet weather drivers, he's got to be in the conversation with one of the best. But I
Absolutely.
feel like it's a really odd one because he did have a shit ton of bad luck,
He
but
did. He
also
was a very
in
unlucky driver. He was the Charles Leclerc of his day.
yeah, but and in the times when he had the pace and could have tried to pull something through, he kind of didn't, which is where I'm hesitant about.
I do
Oh,
get that. I do get that. I just
yeah,
think personally statistics let him down, and races that he could have won he would end up retiring from. I think he would
yeah,
have more wins under his belt if things had gone his way, or of course if he wasn't racing against teams with better cars. Obviously,
yeah,
1995 when he got his first win at Canada, the Williams was better. The the Benetton was the best car on the grid.
yeah,
The McLaren wasn't great that season, but I still say it was better than the Ferrari. Like
yeah,
the Ferrari was like top five, well, like not top three though in terms of the best cars on the grid. So
Mm,
he was. I think that also gets forgotten. He was working with some not slow machinery. It was still race winning machinery. Just it wasn't great, and that obviously
yeah.
held him back a lot.
No, that's fair. I mean, it's to each their own. It's up to interpretation. What I
It's
will
like
say,
sticking it's like sticking someone like Leclerc obviously in Ferrari, but then you just keep
yeah,
giving him like the 2014 Ferrari. It's like
yeah,
it
yeah,
it obviously Alonso was capable of getting a podium in it, but it was still a shit car.
mm, yeah.
So yeah, that's my reasoning, at least my logical thoughts and explanations.
Fair enough. One last one before we move on to the other series discussion,
Indeed.
because we've been yapping for a bit. Is David Coulthard. I just want to briefly go over this. Four-time third place in the championship, one-time runner-up in 2001. Um, just consistently a good podium worthy. I mean, podium in his debut season for Williams.
Mm.
Managing to get third in the championship in his second season. Consistent podium finisher and point scorer. Managed to get 13 wins and how many was it? 68? No,
Mm.
62. 62 podiums in his time at the sport. Obviously, gone on to be a commentator and journalist
Yeah.
for the sport. And I think he's quite well regarded on the whole. But I feel like people sometimes don't give him flat or don't give him the respect he deserves for his time at McLaren, especially
No, absolutely.
in the 2000s and the late 90s. And then obviously he was one of the people who was kind of foundational in the starting of Red Bull
Yeah, massively.
as one of the
Massively.
drivers, managing to get their first. I believe he got their first podium
Mm.
in Monaco 2006.
You are correct.
So yeah, he is definitely a driver worth talking about, but maybe not quite as much as some of the others.
No, massively.
But no, I think that's everything uh for the best non-champion drivers.
Yes, and
So
by all
shall we
means,
get on?
please do leave comments, leave hate messages, or
Yeah, if
leave
there's someone
messages
we've
of love.
missed,
Let us know if there's drivers that you think we've missed, or if you think we might have picked some that aren't so deserving. Obviously, like I said, I know that I was definitely fighting quite hard for John Alesi there. If you think I'm wrong, please tell me. Please give us any sort of engagement. If you want to tell me that you hope that it is cancer, then by all means, it helps us out a lot. So please do that.
indeed. Now, other serious discussion. We usually just go through a quick run through of what's gone on in the other motorsport series
Yes,
every week. So, shall we start off with the NASCAR from you?
indeed. So, NASCAR Cup Series was the Quaker State 400 at Atlanta, or more specifically, the Echo Park Speedway. And I would just like to say, Atlanta is fucking awesome. Great track. And Ryan Blaney took the win after edging out Carson Hocevar and Bubba Wallace. It was a very close photo sort of finish where the top three cars all finished within like a tenth of each other, crossing the line. It's like that scene from the movie Cars in the beginning where it's like so close to the, could have gone
Yeah, yeah.
several ways. But yeah, I mean, even then, that doesn't diminish the fact that Blaney was the clear favourite over the course of the race. he led 171 of the 263 laps and scored Ford's 750th win in the Cup Series to date. So it was definitely Ryan Blaney's night. And while Hocevar he was leading very late, Blaney had an amazing run. If you just watch like the end, just a clip of the end, Blaney had an incredible run, and he was there. Yeah, there was no stopping Ryan Blaney there. But the other name there was Bubba Wallace. Obviously, he ended up finishing on track, I believe, P3. But while attempting to pass Hocevar, he dropped below the yellow line on the inside of the track. And if you drop below the yellow line to overtake, that's an immediate penalty. So in spite of him finish, it might have been P2 actually, because obviously he would have had to pass Hocevar to get that penalty count. So yeah, but in spite of where he finished on the track, he ended up being classified as finishing. I think it was like 29th, so like right at the back. So definitely not a good one for him. And the yellow line rule has been the subject of much debate ever since it was introduced years and years ago. Now I know Kevin Harvick said it was stupid after the race. So it's always been a polarizing thing. But I think for me the highlight of the race, however, had to be Carson Hocevar's team radio. I mean, Hocevar's just a very funny guy, very fun-loving, very chill kind of guy. Unless he's obviously going wheel to wheel with someone, then obviously the cortisol spikes. But it's just I can't even describe it. It's just endless nonsense. There was one point where he was singing to himself. He was singing Cutting Crew, just Died in Your Arms.
Oh, I Just Died in Your Arms.
Yeah. It was like, I've got that song stuck in my head. And they started playing it down the radio for him while under caution. So it's really funny, and it was just very whimsical. So big fan of Carson Hocevar. He could have had a win, and part of me is kind of sad that he didn't, but at the same time, the rest of me knows that Blaney was very much the better driver. So yeah, with that being said, that is Echo Park now behind us, but North Wilkesboro is next, and that is always worth watching. So yeah, stay tuned. And if you don't already watch Cup Series, at least check out the highlights for me. Do me a favour. Do Daddy a favour.
No, you don't deserve it. Don't deserve it for saying that. Now, it's my turn to talk about once Scott's done dying.
Sorry.
It's now my turn to talk about the German Grand Prix for motorcycle racing for MotoGP, and it was as understandable. If you're someone who watches MotoGP, you will know that the King of the Ring, Mr. Marc Marquez, he absolutely swept the weekend. Pole, sprint win, Grand Prix win, claiming his 10th win at the track, and I believe it's the most wins for any MotoGP rider at any one track. But with not as big of a lead as we'd be expecting for him at Sachsenring. It's usually the guarantee track. He'll win every year, no matter what it is. He loves the Sachsenring. Sachsenring loves him. But Ayagura was incredibly good at closing up behind close to him, with just such good pace on that Aprilia. And I mean, the Trackhouse in general has just been working incredibly well for the two of them. Mainly just from a slight fumble in form from Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi, who actually couldn't partake in the race this weekend due to injuries stopping him, so he had to withdraw, which is a bit of a shame. But with Marquez winning, bears out of the race entirely. Martin lower down, and then Agura and Fernandez in second and third respectively. It means that the championship has closed up, an absolute treat. With Agura now second in the championship and Marquez close behind him, with both of them only 18 points away from Martin out in the front. And we're heading into the summer break now. Got a 3-week kind of gap where nothing's going on. So that should be quite interesting as it goes forward. And when we're back, once everyone's refreshed for the British Grand Prix, it will be quite exciting. Though on the whole, as an actual race, it's relatively tame. I don't know what it is about the Sachsenring. It's not the most interesting for racing. Last year was absolute chaos from memory, but this year is quite tame on the whole. There's nothing that good in actual racecraft
Mm.
or spectacle. Like it was just there.
Mhm.
But no. On to the final series bit we need to discuss, which is the 6 hours of Sao Paulo. I did get to. Oh God, excuse me. Oh, fucking
Mr.
hell.
Doots, come on.
Go
Game
back. We're
face.
having a shambolic recording today.
Game
But
face.
we had two categories. So the hypercar, which was won by the number 15 BMW, which was driven by Kevin Magnussen for a good chunk of it, and that was a fantastic opening charge from him, closing up to the Cadillacs out front, with the number 12 initially leading, but a horrendous combination of a slow pit stop and then colliding with an LMGT3 car put Will Stevens in the number 12 much further back, dropping him, so they ended up finishing third behind the 51 Ferrari and then the 15 BMW out in front. On the whole, not the most eventful race. There was some good battling, especially between the Ferraris, the 83 and the 50. There ended up being some good close racing, but on the whole, it wasn't too crazy. No retirements, kept it clean.
Mm.
LMGT3 was won by the number 34 Racing Team Turkey, which is one of the TF Corvettes that they've got sponsored. Which held, I mean, it held a decently high spot after climbing up at the beginning, and for a good
Mm.
chunk of the race, it was just the battle between the 34 and then the 69 Team Ben WRT. Other good thing to mention, where we talked about him slightly earlier, but Logan Sargent in the number 88 Ford, putting in some decent laps, good pace, bringing it home for P5, which is good to see. Hopefully, if he's moving to the hypercar, they'll it's good signs. Good that he's learning how to get his foot in at that kind of stuff. Yeah, and that is everything for the series.
Indeed it is. So that
I
just
believe
leaves us to
we just need
be making predictions for the Belgian Grand Prix.
indeed our Belgian Grand Prix predictions,
Mm.
and for that, for those who don't know, every episode before the for a race, we will do a set of predictions that involve who we think the race winner is going to be, who the race binner is going to be, so just someone who has a particularly bad weekend, who the flop of the tops is, so which of the top team drivers is going to do the worst, and then a wild card prediction, which can kind of be whatever, just something a little bit either out there or just a random pick of our choice for what might happen. And this week, for race winner at Spa, I have gone for George Russell. A memory of he's an absolute, like, he always seems to do pretty well around here. The Merc seems to be quite good on its tires as well, and he has been known to be a tire whisperer around here, even if it's put him out of the race. So we shall see, but I think Russell will have it.
Hmm. That's fair.
And for you?
Well, almost feels like a bit of a reach, but I have gone for Charles Leclerc. Now,
Mm.
Leclerc obviously has not been having the most amazing season up to this point. I think it's until Britain he didn't even have a win.
Well,
Now he does, but before then it was only like what, 2 podiums.
he had 2 podiums, I think,
Yeah.
and then it's been
So, but after the British Grand Prix, he said this was the race that he, for the first time in the season, he actually felt comfortable in the car. Obviously, it was reported that he switched to Hamilton's setup and all of a sudden was able to find the pace that he'd been lacking, find that comfort zone that he wasn't in before. And I think with that in mind, Charles Leclerc is one of those drivers that you can never count out around Spa. Spa, he's only won there once, I will concede, but at the same time, he's always been very comfortable there. That's always been like a stomping ground for him. And I think it'll be no different this year. And I think with Ferrari being very pacey right now and coming off of that win, that renewed sense of confidence, I really think it's not delusional to suggest Leclerc. I mean, it might be. You're welcome to clip that and then play it back to me next week if he dies or something. But yeah, I've put Leclerc.
Fair enough. Now, for race binner, I've taken a page out of your book for the past couple of weeks
Yeah.
and gone for Alex Albon. Because essentially, I mean, I think Williams have never particularly been great around Spa recently. And to put the cherry on top of that, I think Sainz will just pull a much better performance than Albon will, who is he's steadily working his way to fraud watch. Is Albon? I'm beginning to consider that week in week out he is performing worse than his teammate.
Yes,
And
indeed.
I mean, Sainz is a good driver, but I wouldn't say he's class enough that you should always be losing to him. Especially with how highly Albon's been rated at his time at Williams. So we shall see. But he might be worming his way up to fraud watch soon if he's not careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I have gone for Franco Colapinto. Now, this feels dirty for me to say because I've been on the Colapinto bandwagon this year, as I'm sure you know. I have been backing Alpine to be best of the rest. I know that currently it looks like Racing Bulls isn't going to be that by the midpoint of the season, but no, I've been backing Alpine and Colapinto, but I've just got a nagging feeling. I can't even begin to tell you, but I just get this impression that Colapinto is not going to have such a good race and is in fact going to be the race winner.
Very fair, very fair. Now we move on to the flop of the tops, and we've actually once again, just like last week, we've gone for the same driver.
Yes.
So, do we want to say it together, or do you want to say it? Or
Yeah. Let's count us in.
fine, then, and 3, 2, 1.
Lando
Norris.
Norris. We're not over the top, exaggerated Lando Norris haters like some people seem to be on the internet, but he's just not been. I don't think there's ever been a point in his career where he's been that amazing around Spa. Like, he's always put in decent performances, but like nothing sticks in my mind right now when I'm trying to cast it back and think what's Norris's shining moment at Spa. I really don't think he's got one.
I mean, I think that's the thing. I can't think of any thing in particular where he's been incredible at Spa. The other one just being that I feel like McLaren might fumble it with a strategy or something like that.
There's that too, yeah.
Or there's gonna something that might disrupt his race. I'm not gonna put any bets on whether he's just slow or he has an incident or XYZ. But I will just say I think he is going to be the worst of the top team drivers for sure.
That is very fair, yes. But that leads us over to the wildcard prediction to see things out.
Perfect. Do you want to start with yours?
I can. This is a very tricky one. But in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix, I have said that there'll be no rain for once. And that is
bold.
I would just like to emphasize that is during the race specifically, not the entire weekend, please.
Okay.
But yes, during the race on Sunday, I don't think there's going to be any rain. I think the heavens will shine upon the Belgian forest and Spa will run without a red flag. That's not my prediction, but I'm just, for the sake of commenting on things.
I mean, with it being a massive, like, the hot patch that's headed over Europe.
Exactly.
I wouldn't exactly say it's too big a reach, but
Spa
that
is
fine.
the wettest track in Formula One history, statistically.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. What I will go for, or what I've gone for, is that there will be no full safety car. This is just during the race. But
obviously.
if VSC, fine. But if there's a proper safety car of any kind, that's it. I lose that.
Mm.
But yeah,
that wraps things up rather neatly.
Indeed.
Any
final thoughts?
I was about to ask you the same thing. No thoughts, head empty.
Fair enough. Yes, we've been very downbeat this episode. Very tired.
We're normally better than this, dear viewer. I nearly said viewers again. Fuck. No, dear
listener.
We're normally better than this.
Die.
Please believe me.
Scobbit's dying, and I'm just tired. I've got no excuse.
Yeah, you ain't on my shit. I've got mega cancer. You've got the EB Sleepy guy of all time.
Yes, I'm just tired.
So yes.
But no, hopefully you join us next week for the Belgian Grand Prix review episode.
And my
If you
diagnosis.
indeed potentially, if you have listened all the way through, thank you very much. It's very much appreciated.
I can't
If
believe you have.
you have enjoyed, then please
It's
feel free to drop
torture.
a follow or a subscribe or whatever, and then follow us on Instagram at Tyre Straits Podcast. And I believe that's everything.
That is indeed. Say the line, say the line, say the line.
Fine, it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.